rivals, Utah and BYU. Here's the starting lineup tonight for the Cougars. 40 miles south of where we sit right now, Acosta will lead things off, followed by Owens. We told you about Schuler in the open. Udall-Woolley is very good as well. So is Brittingham with the power. Townsend, Mansfield, Turlington, and Bennett. And that'll be the starting 9 here today for the BYU Cougars, who will bat first. And they'll be opposed today on the rubber and in the circle by Shelby Jones. So good to see Shelby back. We saw an injury a couple of weeks ago in the Texas Tech series and weren't sure what might happen. She has rehabbed it hard. She is ready to go, and it means something to her. She's an in-state girl and pitched last year in this game, in this series down in Provo.
She's got a little more help this year with the offense and the pitching staff, and it's great to see her out there because it was not looking good for a moment of time, and so it's amazing what they can do, rehabbing these injuries back, and she's such an emotional leader. It's a great thing that she's out there in this first game.
Now she's ready to go, and so are we. Glad you could be with us on this Thursday afternoon here in Salt Lake City for game 1 of the 3-game weekend set. First pitch on the way. The Danica Acosta fouled back to the screen, and it's 0-1. Acosta comes in at .342. That's the leading average on this BYU team. She's got 3 home runs and 14 runs driven in. And if you've not seen Shelby Jones pitch, she is an animated pitcher, to say the least, out there. She will bounce around and tell you each and every pitch and how she's feeling about things. 1-1 the count here on Acosta. Outfield shallow, infield back here with nobody on and nobody out. Fouled off the left side, backing out of play, and the count now 1-2.
And with the size of this field, there's a lot of spots that BYU can drop it, and they've been swinging the bat incredibly well as of late, and can hit that long ball and also drop it into these gaps here.
Shelby's got her call. Her head coach, Amy Hogue, calling pitches here tonight from the dugout. And here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Just got a piece of it to stay alive to Acosta.
And I think emotions are high, too, in these rivalry games, and it's important for Utah to, as the home team, to try to establish sort of the tone of control, because when these games go off the rails, it's when one of the teams loses control.
Count 1-2. Jones ready to go. Rocks and fires, and that ball rises high, 2-2. Acosta had a 2-home run game, or 2 home runs, I should say, in the Kansas series, including a walk-off in that second game. She kind of sets the table for everything the Cougars like to do. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popped up on the left side. Shortstop posse going over. Left fielder coming in. And what a play by Reese Lee to grab that, nab that, right up against the netting for out number 1.
And those are the kinds of things that Utah needs to do, because he's, you know, that's a deadly Acosta hitter to be on the bases too, and so for Utah to get ahead like this is a good start for them, especially with Shelby coming back.
The one away brings up Lily Owens, the left fielder. Owens, a senior, hitting .323. Lots of power, though. Tied for the team lead with 10 home runs. Takes a cut at that ball down, and the count 0-1. Owens out of Chino Hills, California. Watching her take BP today, she put a lot of them out on that outfield grass. Wind blowing out earlier. It's kind of died down a little bit right now. Jones rocks and fires. That one just misses. Not by much, though. 1-1.
A lot of times when these hitters are warming up like that, it translates to the games. But I think that Shelby's got to mix in these off speeds and keep these Cougar batters off balance. And she's been doing that a bit with her changeup so far.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Lily Owens. Fouled back 1-2. Shelby Jones is having, as I mentioned, a really good year this year. She made the transfer from Salt Lake Community College a year ago, and it was a little bit of a level up for her. Boy, but this year, 3rd right now in the Big 12 in earned run average at .221. And ahead in the count here to Owens, 1-2. Tried to get her to chase out of the zone, wouldn't do it. Now the count levels out at 2-2.
And it's a little role reversal for Jones. I can hear her saying, Proctor, me and you. And That's usually the opposite of what the catcher's doing, but it works really well with the emotion that Shelby shows on the mound.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Lily Owens. Here's the pitch. That one's popped out toward the second baseman. Haley White retreats onto the outfield grass for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down. Brings up maybe the most dangerous hitter. Top of this order is really good for BYU, but boy, Haley Schuler is as hot as anybody right now. The Duke transfer homered twice in game 1 against Iowa State back in their last Big 12 series and had 2 home runs on Tuesday in BYU's win over Weber State. She has been a terrific find for the Cougars, transferring in from Duke last year where she played as a freshman.
Just an all-around athlete, and again, the two-way player. I mean, we saw it like a little bit with Lisa Fernandez, but that's almost where it felt like it stopped in the early days of softball coming on. But these two-way players are absolutely impressive.
You will see Haley Schuler pitch when we get to the bottom of the first inning here. That's how impressive she is. Fouls that one off in the count, now 1-1.
I always like to ask the coaches, what else can they do for you? Talk about a 2-for-1. Man, it's so hard to find that in this climate, and to be able to even see what you're getting from her Duke, which Duke is no joke either.
1-1 the count here to Schuler. That one rides inside, 2-1. Schuler, like a lot of these BYU players, BYU goes into Southern California, gets a lot of players out of there, a lot of good softball players in Southern California. Out of Lake Balboa, California, went to Sierra Canyon High School. Sierra Canyon got nationally recognized in recent years as a basketball school because LeBron James's kids went there. But it produces a lot of terrific athletes in all sports. 3-1 the count now. Hitters count for Schuler here with 2 outs in the first.
That's pretty good company.
Fouled back. She wanted that one. Just got a piece of it to stay. Now 3-2. Udall Woolley waits on deck to have back cleanup for BYU if Schuler can keep this inning alive.
These great hitters know that the more pitches they see, the better odds they have of getting something that they like.
Here comes the payoff pitch. Just below the knees. Utah thought they had strike 3. Instead, it's a walk now, and Schuler will head down to first base.
And I talk about this a lot. The Utah fans don't like that call, but at the beginning innings, you are trying to feel out where can I go? Can I get into the river, the spot between the batter's box and home plate? How far can I push it at the knees? How far can I push it at the armpits? And you see them feeling each other out here with the zone.
Back through the box. Haley White juggles it. Posse grabs it and steps on the bag for out number 3. Right place, right time for Shanti Posse. And BYU retired here in the first inning. No runs, no hits, just a walk. And we had to be followed by Kennedy Proctor, Danica Wilson, Sion Noli, Peyton Crank, Kayla Lyon, Shanti Posse, Reese Lee, and Haley White. It's a very good Utah hitting lineup.
Very good hitting lineup, and you know they're not unknowns anymore, these freshmen. There are a lot of scouting reports out on them now. And
here's a look at Haley Schuler, the sophomore. We saw her hit a moment ago. The Duke transfer will pitch today, making her 30th appearance on the year, 12th start as well, 5-7 record, and a 7.68 earned run average. It needs to be mentioned that BYU's ace, their number 1 starter, has been out after only 4 appearances this year. Kaysen Korth, they may have back later in the season, but she's been a big hole in that lineup, and the first pitch is lined into center field by Mia Gomez. She saw one she liked and took it right back through the box for a leadoff single.
That tells me the Utah hitters have the green light to decide early on what they want to do. That was just a little too good for Gomez to let go. It was right where she wanted it, and had great contact on that.
For Gomez, her 57th hit on the year. She's got 101 total bases now, and now Kennedy Proctor steps in. Kennedy tied for the team lead with 11 home runs coming in today. Takes one outside. Proctor out of Rancho Santa Margarita, California, and Tesoro High School. This game on both sides will be littered with Southern California natives, and Proctor one of them. Kennedy having a really nice year, backing up what was an outstanding freshman All-American year last year. And she's ahead in the count here, 2-0.
She's really got comfortable at the plate. I know she moved around a little bit more last year, but it's been fun to see her get her stride behind the plate.
Schuler ready. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Proctor. Way out in front of that one. Off-speed pitch got her fooled just a little bit right there, 2-1.
And it's very difficult to get Proctor off her balance. She's one of the most balanced hitters Utah has. And so that was a great job there.
Hits for power, hits to all fields does Kennedy Proctor. Gomez down at first, nobody out. That's a strike, and the count now 2-2. Haley Schuler, not what you would call a strikeout pitcher, though. She's really not. She's only got 43 strikeouts on the year in 75 innings and 50 walks on top of it. So if she's going to beat you, she's going to beat you with her stuff and with that defense behind her. 2-2 here on Proctor. Way out of the zone. Good grab there by the catcher, Bree Townsend. Danica Wilson, another freshman, waits on deck for Utah. The Utes have 4 freshmen in the starting lineup tonight, and you could see more. Here's the payoff pitch. She laid off it down. That's ball 4 and a walk. 44th walk issued this year by Schuler. And the Utah have 2 on and nobody out with Danica Wilson coming to the plate.
And again, it's the Utah hitters love to hit, and for Proctor to set the tone on the leadership of sitting back and not swinging at pitches that she doesn't like. Now they've got 2 runners on, no outs.
3:15 is where she's at. She lays down a perfect bunt. Will she leg it out? They get her just in time. I was just about to say, sacrifice could be on, but Danica Wilson will fool you. Got that slender frame, but she's got good power, too. She's hit 7 home runs this year. The runners move up now, second and third.
I wasn't betting on her the first time I saw her. I've told the story a million times on the air, but she ripped it out in St. George, and I thought, okay, she will be more than a two-way hitter. She's got a few tricks up her sleeve, and she's become like a favorite of a lot of fans out there.
First baseman, freshman Ciannoli in now, and she sees a strike at the knees, 0-1. Noli hitting .296, but good power, and she's really come on as of late. 5 home runs and 30 runs driven in for Noli.
She's got such a great even kill personality, perfect for first base and batting in this position.
Ball just outside, 1-1. Are you surprised they've got the infield pulled in as far as they do right now in the first inning?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I think that's kind of saying that they want to protect that run, and maybe they think they'll have a little time to, in case Utah goes there, but Utah doesn't have to go.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Schuler. Lays off it outside, now 2-1. Gomez down at third base, led the game off with a single. Proctor walked. She's down at second base. Count 2-1 here on Noli. Freshman out of the Phoenix area. Rises high now, 3-1. Now the question becomes, with Schuler having walked one already, do you turn Noli loose here on 3-1, or do you want to see something you really like?
In the first inning, she might want to get that runner on and maybe have a take on this one.
Peyton Crank on deck. Noli grounds it toward the shortstop. The runner stays at third, throw over to first in time. And the defensive adjustment paid dividends right there for BYU. They had the infield in, hit right at the shortstop, and now there's 2 away. That brings up the hottest hitter in the Utah lineup right now. Peyton Crank, reigning newcomer and freshman of the week in the Big 12 Conference. Peyton hitting .331 on the year. 7 home runs and 39 runs driven in. Base hit here would score 2 for Utah. Ball outside, ball 1. Crank second on the Utes in RBI at 39, behind only Mia Gomez, who has 40. Just a little late on that one, got a tip to it, and it's 1-1.
you just see her swinging with so much more confidence. I mean, obviously as high school players, these freshmen were the top of their game in their respective programs, but sometimes it's a jump to this level, and she has a little different swag in the box than I've seen.
The second inning scoreless here in Salt Lake City. He's going to send up 5, 6, and 7 here. Brittingham, Townsend, and Mansfield to go against Shelby Jones. Shelby Jones was Big 12 Pitcher of the Week about 3 weeks ago, too. Pitched in all 3 games in that BYU series down in Provo a year ago.
And that's a lot to shoulder for any pitcher to pitch in every game in a series. So I'm sure it'll be a little different game plan here.
Power at the plate right now for the BYU Cougars, and there you go. Long drive out to left field, and over the head of Reese Lee it goes. Brittingham around first and on her way to second with a leadoff stand-up double. I was just about to tell you, she leads the team in hits, or I should say home runs and RBI. And she just knocked out her 4th double of the season. Here's a look. Yep, got a pitch she liked and just drilled it out to left field. So Brittingham down at second base with nobody out. That'll bring up Bree Townsend. Townsend, the catcher, a sophomore, hitting just .228. Good power, though. 5 home runs and 18 runs driven in. Fouls it back 0-1.
And again, anymore, it's so hard to get these shutout games because so many of these programs know how to score runs. And so it's a matter of both teams minimizing damage on the run column today.
0-1 the count to Townsend. Here's the pitch. Fouled back again. Townsend had the game-winning walk-off sac fly in Game 3 of the sweep against the Houston Cougars a couple of weeks ago.
That would have to be a great feeling to
anytime you can walk it off.
Oh.
And then have your teammates mob you out on the field. Down in the count here, 0-2 to Jones. Runner at second base, nobody out here in the second. That one rides inside just a little bit, 1-2.
Because when you're coaching, you're saying, hey, all we need is a sacrifice fly. I mean, it shouldn't be that tough. Just give me a sacrifice fly, and when your team comes through, there's no better feeling.
Head coach Gordon Eakin down at third base. 1-2 the count on his catcher Townsend. Wouldn't chase, 2-2. Shelby's knee was a little out of place the last couple of weeks, but she should be well rested. Hasn't thrown a bunch. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Grounded foul up the third base line, stays 2-2. BYU comes in today 17-28 overall. 6-12 in league play, 3-11 away from Provo. Their RPI as the day began today was at 88. A little bit of a role reversal from where they were a year ago.
Yeah, and it's nice to see these programs back in the same conference. It's not something I ever had the opportunity as a player to have to play against BYU, because at the time they didn't have a program. And no, I'm not that old, but it's kind of to softball standards, it could be considered a newer program. Utah's a 50-year, program, and so
BYU, what, a 25-year, 26-year program?
Yes.
2-2 the count here on Townsend. That hit her. Well, that one just got away from Shelby and kind of came out of her hand awkwardly. And so now, much like Utah had in the bottom of the first inning, BYU's got runners at first and second and nobody out.
And these are the things that you have to work through. You can say, oh, she's only been off for a few weeks, but there's so much in the step and the release, and it's a game of inches at the mound, and it's just going to take Shelby a bit of time to get back in her cadence of what she likes to do here.
8th hit batter this year by Jones, as that one runs right inside, in on the hands of Miranda Mansfield. She squared the bunt to try to sacrifice over, and that thing came inside on her. 0-1. I guess she can get that bat back in time. Gordon Eakins asking if that ball hit her arm, and the home plate umpire, Smokey Eads, said nope, went off the bat. Yep, right off the bat. 0-1 the count here on Mansfield. Tries to get that bunt down, foul again, 0-2 now.
I don't know whose toe that came off of, the umpire or Proctor, but it almost looked like a hit there.
Infield in expecting. We'll see if they keep the bunt on here and hope to get it down against Shelby Jones, who's not given Mansfield anything to get close to so far. In at the corners, first and third. 0-2 the count here on Mansfield. Swinging away that time, but took the pitch high, ball one.
And that's a pitcher's dream when you can throw up a nice rise ball when they might want to sacrifice bunt and get that little pop-up in this situation. But looks like she's got other plans here at the plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out here in the second in a scoreless game. Swing and a miss. Down goes Mansfield. Jones got her to chase out of the zone for her first strikeout, and there's one away.
We talked about what does this rivalry mean? Do the out-of-staters know anything about it? Well, I know there's one person that knows something about it, and that's Shelby Jones. Utah kid that's just seen it year after year, and I'm sure her emotions are even higher today.
Ball out of the zone that time to Tristan Turlington. Turlington playing shortstop, hitting .214. No home runs, 7 runs driven in for Turlington on the year. Mentioned BYU not having the season they had a year ago, but playing better as of late. Cougars have won 6 of their last 8 games. They swept Houston 2 weeks ago, and they took 2 out of 3 from Iowa State last weekend.
When you go through the adversity that the Cougars have gone through, it just sometimes takes a while for you to get things going. And if you're Utah, you don't want to run into a team that's playing so free and playing without stress. And that's kind of how BYU's been.
Who grabs it for out number 2. Well, we mentioned to you the BYU's ace, Kason Korth, has only pitched 4 times this year, may or may not be able to come back. They're also missing their starting shortstop. Haley Morrow got hurt, and she's done for the year. She was having a really nice year before getting hurt, hitting .303, but she got hurt a couple of weeks back, and they're not sure if they're going to have her the rest of the year either. Showing bunt, then pulling back is Lexi Bennett. And Bennett has been maybe the hottest hitter on this BYU team as of late. In the month of April, Bennett is hitting .500 for BYU.
That's not a bad statistics in this sport.
Bottom of the lineup, but hitting .338 on the year. Takes that one for a strike, and the count levels out at 1-1. Bennett hit .600 against Iowa State and hit .500 against Houston.
I would say that's worth the title of being a hot hitter.
Starting center fielder for BYU. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Just misses out on the edge, 2-1.
It's the time of the season where the season can start feeling long, and we used to joke about being 0 for April, It was a pitcher's duel back then, so you didn't get as many chances, as you see with these players. But when you can be hot.
2-1 foul back, and now the count levels out at 2-2. Danica Acosta waits on deck if Bennett can keep this inning alive. 2-2, 2 out and 2 on for BYU here in the second. Deuces are wild right now. Shelby Jones ready to go. So is Lexi Bennett. That one lifted into left field. Reese Leon makes a nice grab right up against fair territory. And that will do it for BYU. No runs a hit. 2 left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. But it's good to have Matt Lyle on staff. He'll have to put the social media stuff aside, at least for the time being, and focus on helping Utah hit the ball. Utah's got a hit today, and they've got 6, 7, and 8, maybe 9 coming up in this half inning as Kayla Lyon leads it off. Kayla's averaged down just a little bit, but she pops that one up towards Schuler. And the rare pop out to the pitcher retires Kayla Lyon to begin things here in the second inning. Back to Matt Lyle for just a minute. Amy has known him for quite some time, and Courtney Martinez, the associate head coach for Utah, has also known Matt very, very well. In fact, funny thing is, Matt actually coached Amy's daughter at Oregon State, her daughter Tessa, before he left Oregon State to spend some time with family this year. But he is a hitting guru and outstanding on the analytics side of things.
And I know the dad jokes don't take you as far as a hitting in this game, but he's got an advantage because he's got 5 kids at home that he can practice these jokes on. And obviously a very patient wife to let him fill in like this.
Posse way out in front of that pitch, and the count levels out at 1-1. Shanti Posse, the Utah shortstop, comes in today at .309, 5 home runs and 18 runs driven in. And the good news for Posse is that hand and thumb injury that she's been dealing with much of this year seems to be getting better and better for her. 1-1 pitch in there for a strike.
For a shortstop to have a little baby finger problem is almost like a football player having turf toe. It's just like so annoying, and it kind of comes and goes. And she's shown a lot of leadership to battle through that and stay out there and be the leader that she is on this team.
1-2 pitch on the way to Posse, laid off at outside 2-2. This is that crazy time of day, Laura. You can see home plate and Posse are in the shadows, and the pitcher is in the sun. It can be hard for the ball to be picked up by the hitter coming out of that sun, can it?
Absolutely. It's something that's really difficult.
That one bounces up there now, 3-2.
You're trying to pick up the speed really early out of the hand, and then the spin, it changes its look. It almost goes to a mono kind of a look, black and white, as it's coming to you from color.
Full count here on Posse with 1 out here in the second. Grounds that one foul. Reesley waits on deck for Utah. Each team's got a hit here through an inning and a half. Nothing on the board yet for either side. Outfield at medium depth and straight away. Just a little bit of a breeze blowing out to center field. Schuler ready to go, and here comes the 3-2 pitch. Grounded back through the middle, off the pitcher's glove to the second baseman. And I think that one's going to be scored 1-4-3 because the pitcher got her glove to it, and Posse's retired for the second out.
Maybe she slowed it down a little bit, maybe an assist. But yeah, BYU's field is direct opposite as Utah's field, so these players are used to having the sun to their back, these outfielders, and now it's going down to the west, and we're completely opposite, so they're getting a lot of sun out there in the outfield too.
Brings up the left fielder, Reese Lee. We saw Reese make a couple of nice plays out in left field back in the first inning and in the second inning. First pitch on the way to her, down. We'll get our umpire crew today. Down at first base, Michael Hernandez. Matt Jacks down at third base, and Smokey Eads behind home plate. Well, mound visit right now between Townsend and Schuler. Defense behind Schuler, Mansfield at third, Turlington at short, Acosta down at second base, and Udall Woolley at first. Townsend behind home plate, Owens, Bennett, and Brittingham in the outfield. They didn't quite time that one up, and the count now 1-1.
A little bit of cat and mouse on these off-speed pitches, and just the Utah, they're almost through their lineup here, and it'll be interesting to see the second time around, if they even get that second time. It's pitching by committee.
That one line foul up the third base line and into the netting. It goes 1-2. As I mentioned, Schuler, a little bit of a departure from some of the pitchers that Utah's seen in recent weeks. She's not a power pitcher. Strikeout and walk numbers tell you that right there. She's mixing pitches, locating pitches. She's not going to stand out there and blow it by you like maybe the Texas Tech step we saw a couple of weeks ago.
And
Lee back through the box and into center field. And a 2-out single for Reese Lee.
She's been generally effective with that as well. Producing outs is what we always used to say. But Utah here, we've seen them do some incredible things here with 2 outs, and this is just the start of that. That, you know, Coach Hogue has alluded to sometimes her team does a little better against the wall. Sometimes they do better, you know, when they have to, when they're, you know, 2 outs, and takes them a bit to get it going sometimes, but when they get it going.
Haley White steps in. Senior hitting, .321 on the year. No home runs for Haley yet this year, but she's driven in 17. Good 2-out hitter, 2 at .268. Even better with runners on. That ball down 2-0. Lee's got good speed down at first base.
Haley White's like having another coach out there on the field when she's out there playing second base, and the team's better with her out there, and she mimics the same thing at the plate.
Really seems the strategy as that ball rides high early here for Utah hitters has been to make Schuler work just a little bit. 3-0 the count now. Schuler's walked 51 on the year. That one's in there for a strike now, 3-1 on Haley White. If White can keep the inning alive, the dangerous Mia Gomez bats next for Utah. Infield back with 2 away. Outfield straight away and at medium depth. 3-1 pitch. That one's chopped toward the third baseman. Mansfield has it on to first in time to retire White. And the Utes are done in the second. No runs a hit and 1 left on base. A pitcher, you see a lineup for that second time, right?
I think the viewers and the fans out here are going to start seeing a different game unfold because these hitters have seen the pitchers, and it's always a little different.
Danica Acosta, who flew out to left field into foul territory her first time through, saw Reese Lee make a nice play up against the netting, lines that first pitch into center field, and that's a base hit. So Acosta on. Leading hitter on this BYU team has her first hit and the second for the Cougars this afternoon. And BYU, for the second time in 3 innings, has its leadoff runner on.
And that seemed like she was looking for that pitch and guessing that would be a strike, and had the plan to go after that right away.
Here's where Shelby Jones has to be careful. The second time through the order. Power comes up for BYU. Lily Owens has 10 home runs on the year, and that's a strike. Owens popped out to the second baseman, her first time through.
And with how much work Shelby's put into that rise ball, you just want to make sure with these big hitters of BYU to not let it go flat. Make sure it jumps out.
Ran that one inside again, 1-1. Owens out of Southern California. Chino Hills, in fact, went all the way back east to Lehigh to play her softball to begin her career and has since transferred back to Provo and playing for BYU and thriving right now at BYU. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Way out in front. Good off-speed pitch. Now 1-2.
And I believe that would have been thrown for a strike, whether swung out or not. So really great job by Jones putting it right on that corner off speed for a strike, which is a harder thing to do with that changeup.
1 ball, 2 strikes. No out, runner on first base here in the third. That one's grounded up the middle and into center field. Another base hit for BYU. Back-to-back base hits off of Shelby Jones, and the Cougars have a little something going here in the third, first and second, and nobody out.
Boy, if you drew a line on that, those hits were almost in the same spot there, maybe even the same pitch.
They got their first 2 runners on last inning. Now they have their first 2 runners on this inning, and Haley Schuler to the plate. Haley can help out her own cause right here. I'd be surprised if she's bunting the way she swings the bat, but we'll see. Grounds it foul. Kayla Lyon was drawn in, and that one just zinged right past her up the third base line. Tied for BYU's lead with RBI at 33, second on the team in home runs with 8. Owen won the count here on Schuler. Fouled back now 0-2. 2 foul balls as Schuler is up there swinging away.
And with this rivalry game, I mean, it should be such a great advantage, whomever gets to play at home. And Utah needs to really take advantage of being at home, being in a comfortable environment, and getting some kind of momentum.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Rises high, 1-2. It's been kind of the MO with Jones. She gets up on a hitter and she tries to throw that rise ball to get him chased. Sometimes you've got to change it up, come right back at him again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out. Didn't miss by much, but missed inside now, 2-2.
That's close.
You can see the reaction to Shelby. She thought she might have had strike 3 right there.
That's like food for a pitcher when you get that call, but he didn't call that earlier either across the river, and he's sticking to that, so at least he's being consistent.
2-2 here on Schuler. That one bounces up there. Good block by Proctor. And now the count runs full 3-2. And the last thing you want to do right here is give Schuler a free base with Udall-Woolley coming up next.
You see those walks come back to haunt you, and it's important to mix something up here to keep her off balance.
Payoff pitch on the way to Schuler. Pops it up foul, backing out of play, and it stays 3-2. Lyon at third, Posse at short, White at second, Noli down at first base, Kennedy Proctor behind home plate. Reese Lee, Danica Wilson, and Peyton Crank left to right across the outfield. Now Gordon Eakin wants a timeout. A little bit of an unusual place to call a timeout at 3-2, but here we are.
I thought at first maybe it was a substitution on the base path. I don't know who it would be for, though. This could be a lot of things right now. I mean, I think you're kind of trying to, as a coach, say, okay, if this happens, reminding them this is a really deep field. Hey, this is the kind of athlete that you really can say what the ideal is here. And obviously there was something he wanted to share with the hitters and runners, and we'll see if they can execute it here.
Schuler hitting .469 with runners in scoring position. She's got a runner at second base in scoring position. 3-2 the count here. Shelby Jones is ready. She'll rock and fire. That one grounded foul. So the battle continues here on pitch number 48, soon to be 49, and on to 50 here against Schuler. Back-to-back singles to begin things here in the third for BYU.
It's a matter of keeping a hitter like this off balance, and for Schuler to do the opposite and stay back, especially if she sees that changeup.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Bounces up there, ball 4, and Shelby Jones has loaded the bases now with a walk.
That was just a release issue there. I like the idea of it, but again, not anything that Schuler was going to go for.
That brings up the first baseman, Maddie Udall-Woolley. Bounced into a fielder's choice her first time up. She got her hand on the plate before the tag was applied. Watch this.
I'm sorry, the call of out at home plate is being challenged by BYU.
I think she's safe.
It's a very difficult slide. You saw her do that slide perfectly, where you pretty much run past home base and you kind of
reach back,
slip your fingertips in there, and so she could feel plate hit, almost like a first baseman would feel the cadence of a runner going to first and hitting the bag before or after the ball hit their glove. But this is where I love the review. You think about how meaningful this call is right here, and again, back in the old days, it was like, live with it, you would just have to be stuck with something that maybe you feel like was not right. So I do love the aspect of the replay, and that they can't do it the whole game, but they can choose.
The throw from Reese Lee was right on line. It was terrific. I just think the slide from Lily Owens was better. Well,
and she had a lot of speed coming. She's kind of going in some ways all the way, no question. And maybe that was some of the conversation of, hey, let's get you guys going. And
she's safe. I don't see anything there that shows that tag applied before. Watch. Around, plant on the plate, then the tag's applied. She didn't get the tag on her till she was past her.
Yeah, and
it's a great slide.
It's a hard thing as a catcher. All you can do is go with the ball. You're going with the ball. You're not catching it and then sweeping the tag. You're going with the throw, and that's all you can do is pivot around like Proctor did. She did all she could.
That's what I said. The throw was good, and it was just a better play by the runner. That's all it was. Sometimes good offense beats good defense, and I think it did right there for BYU.
The catchers can no longer block the plate like they used to do legally. They have to give them a path. And
now the one thing that works in Utah's favor here is the call on the field was out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to see something pretty overwhelming and compelling to overrule it, but I think we saw it on a couple of those replays.
I always wonder how the umpire feels. Like they feel great when they're right. They kind of have to be the one that stands out here by themselves while the others go in, and it's a different aspect to the game. It slows it down a little bit, but it makes it fun to feel like you're getting the right call.
Well, you've got to take your ego out of it. What's most important is the right call. That's why you've got the technology, and you can't worry about that. Shoot, Major League Baseball right now, they're able to challenge balls and strikes. You just have to do your very best and let technology take it from there. As it stands, it's 1-0 BYU with runners on first and second, and the call at the plate was out. If it's overturned, it will be runners at first and second, nobody out, and 2-0 BYU.
And you see that the coaches lean a lot on their players. I mean, you're sitting over there at the third base. Maybe he could see it all the way, but usually you'll see the player call for it, let their coach know, no, go to the headphones.
And that's what Lily Owens did right there. She popped up immediately and patted her helmet and told her head coach to review it.
They do that motion, just both of their hands on each of their ear, headphones. And this one's taken a little bit longer, but apparently, from what I understand from our people that are producing this show, they do have a lot of different angles that we can't see.
This is true. The umpires have different looks than we necessarily have. They have everything possible at their disposal, and they'll take a look at all of this. And in a game like this, you want to make sure you get this call right. It's a run-scoring play in a rivalry game early on, and runs are important in games like this, so they're going to take their time with the review and get it right.
Yeah, this is one of the longer ones that we've seen here.
Brittingham will be up next for BYU. Here comes the umpires out of the review, and we're going to get the call right here. Michael Hernandez will give us the call, and let's see what it is. They've changed the call. The runner was safe at the plate. That's what we saw on the replay. BYU celebrates in the dugout, and they get a second run on the board to lead it 2-0 here in the third.
And again, not much Proctor could have done. I mean, it was just an absolutely great slide there.
So that brings up the dangerous right fielder, Ilovea Brittingham, who doubled her first time up on a liner out to left field. One hopped the wall. She pulled into second base with a leadoff double. That ball down, ball one.
Well, and again, it's a game of momentum here, and Utah has got to get, again, the double play being the pitcher's best friend. They need an out here to calm this chaos down that we've been talking about.
2 on, nobody out. 2 runs in here in the third for BYU. Brittingham hitting .281 on the year. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike.
It's a lot of ball game to still play, but the team that gets out there and scores, that's so much easier to add on to those runs once you've scored. And Utah's probably anxious to get back into the dugout, but they've got a ways to go here with 0 out.
Brittingham was all Big 12. She was freshman of the year a year ago in the Big 12 conference. Preseason all Big 12 this season as well. That one down 2-1. In fact, she hit 2 home runs in a single game earlier this year against UCLA. It's not easy to do off the Bruins.
No. One home run in a series would be pretty impressive against the Bruins.
2-1 pitch on the way. Grounds it toward the shortstop. Posse is going to take it herself. Fire on to first. And that's exactly what Shelby Jones needed right there. A twin killing. 2 away.
That double play changes a lot. And Utah, again, at times they've taken a little longer to get those engines started, but we've seen them do some great things with, beating Texas Tech and some other big wins. But I think this story here is just getting Shelby back in her rhythm.
2 outs, runner at third base, brings up the catcher, Bree Townsend, who walked her first time through. That one grounded foul up the third base line. Count levels out at 1-1. Haley Schuler down at third base with 2 outs. Infield back, outfield straight away, medium depth here on Townsend. Line foul up the left field line into the corner, and the count now 1-2. Townsend with 5 home runs on the year, and 18 runs driven in. Out of Buena Park, California. Shelby Jones trying to minimize the damage here in the third inning and get out of it right here. She's a pitch away. Didn't get Townsend to chase right there, 2-2.
I think with every pitch that Jones is throwing, she's sort of taking in how it's feeling, and I do think we'll see her get more on her rhythm that she had before her time she had to take off.
Now 3-2. Miranda Mansfield waits on deck for BYU. Payoff pitch on the way. Grounded out toward the third baseman, Lyon Fields, and fires on to first in time. That will do it for BYU in the third, but they break on top first and draw first blood. 2 runs on 3 hits as we head to the bottom of the third. Of Utah, and that young woman right there leads that drive on the power. She's got 11 home runs on the year. Utah has hit 54 home runs as a team. They hit 29 all of last year. And the 4 freshmen in the lineup tonight for Utah have hit 30 of the 54 home runs.
I love that quote from Gomez. Coach Martinez helps us catch as many barrels as possible.
Mia Gomez led the game off for Utah with a single back to the box into center field, and she's ahead in the count here, 2-0. Mia has 101 total bases this year. She has 22 extra base hits, 11 doubles, and 11 home runs. Has that season average at .390. That one's grounded through the hole and into left field for a base hit. And Mia Gomez is 2 for 2 tonight.
She's seeing the ball really well tonight, and I think the preparation that they go through gives these younger hitters that have a lot of talent, a lot of confidence going in.
Well, Kennedy Proctor's not a freshman. She's only a sophomore, but she's part of that power, too, for this Utah team. She's tied for the team lead with home runs at 11. She walked her first time up. Saw a pitch she liked there, fouled it off the hands back to the screen.
There's been a lot of times we've seen Proctor get this offense going. Timely hitting when the Utes have needed her. She's come through in some pretty high-pressure situations, which Coach Hogue is counting on.
She, in fact, leads this team in slugging at .693. 0-1 pitch from Schuler. That one misses 1-1.
And I think also the analytics, I think the plan here that Utah was hoping for is to not help the pitchers, in these games, to make them throw and not be very disciplined at the plate. And seems like Utah's trying to slide into that plan a little bit better than how they started.
Proctor's also got a good eye. She's walked 31 times on the year. That leads this Utah team. That's a strike now. And the count levels out at 2-2. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for BYU. No runs, 3 hits. And no errors for Utah. Bottom of the third here in Salt Lake. 2-0 Cougars. Good take by Proctor. That was close, but she took it for ball 3.
He hasn't been calling that inside one, and I always felt like it was a little risky, with the full count situation.
Here's the full count pitch. That one's grounded foul as Gomez takes off for second base, and she'll come back to first, and the count stays at 3-2.
You have to guess as a hitter here that you should be seeing one. Schuler wants just to give any of the Utah players a free ride here.
Grounded back up through the middle, might be 2. Shortstop steps on the bag and fires on to first, and that's a double play. Same way Posse did it earlier. Turlington did it right there to retire Proctor, and there's 2 outs here in the Utah third.
Yeah, she was just waiting for that ball. The way it bounced, it was just really a nice play there to turn it without a lot of momentum. She was just sort of standing on second and had to get rid of it quick.
So now 2 outs here in the Utah third. Brings up Danica Wilson. Executed a good sacrifice her first time through. Utah wasn't able to cash in, though, back in the first inning. Takes that first pitch high, ball 1. Wilson, part of that talented freshman class we were talking about earlier, too. 7 home runs this year for Danica Wilson. Twice this year she's been named Big 12 Freshman of the Week.
Plays a pretty good center field as well. She's covered a lot of ground out there in center this year.
1-1 the count here on the Utah center fielder. Way out in front of that off-speed pitch. Schuler's done a pretty nice job keeping these Utah hitters a little off balance so far.
Absolutely. She's thrown that changeup when she's needed to, and again produced those really big outs when she's needed it.
Swing and a miss. Down she goes, strike 3. And the first strikeout of the night ends the third for Haley Schuler and the BYU Cougars.
Free with not a lot to lose here, and that's when you play the best, is when you have that freedom.
7, 8, and 9 for the Cougars here. Miranda Mansfield will lead it off. She struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1 tonight, hitting .200 on the season. Utah in at the corners, expecting a potential bunt or a slap here from Miranda Mansfield. And takes a strike, 0-1. Mansfield, a senior, Clearfield High School in Syracuse, Utah. Was a teammate of Shelby Jones at Salt Lake Community College.
I can't say enough about what Cindy Bennett's doing over there at Salt Lake Community College, really producing and developing players for all the in-state four-year schools.
That ball lined into center field, but right at Danica Wilson as she came over to her right to grab it and retires Mansfield for out number 1. So 1 away in the BYU fourth brings up Tristan Turlington. Saw Turlington retire Utah with that double play, 6-3 just moments ago. Turlington batting from the right side, a senior hitting .211 on the year. She's gotten the call at shortstop. She was a backup much of the year, but ever since Haley Morrow went down, she's had to step in. Hit .400 in the Houston series, so she's got it in her.
You know, it's so hard to sit behind someone, and when you get your number called, it's and you do well, you should pat yourself on the back. It's a great thing when you can be ready.
Well, if you go back in time, back to her freshman year, she was a second-team All-WCC player back in 2023. So she's played quite a bit throughout her career for this BYU side. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike, and the count now 1-2 on Turlington. Lexi Bennett waits on deck for BYU. After a rough and cold start to the day today here in Salt Lake City, a beautiful night for softball. Swing and a miss. Down she goes. Second strikeout for Shelby Jones, and there's 2 away here in the BYU fourth.
It's been these kinds of things working for Shelby. This has been her go-to to get those batters to swing at, and when they do and it's a strikeout, that just gives Jones so much more energy out there.
Strike into Lexi Bennett, who bats in the 9 spot, but hitting very well. Lined out to left field her first time through, hitting .333 on the year.
I'd like to put a radar gun on the pitch after Shelby strikes batters out and see if it's a little bit faster.
That one chopped foul, 0-2.
It always seems like it is a little faster. She's got a little more whip on it after those strikeouts. And again, each inning, there's a little change in her getting back on where she needs to be.
Bennett showing bunt down in the count here, 0-2. I doubt that bat will stay there. She pulls it back, slaps it toward Kayla Lyon, but foul. Not a lot of power out of Bennett. No home runs this year, but she runs really well.
Those hitters that can run well just gives you one more aspect to hurt the defense. And she has been able to create that chaos on defenses.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Shelby Jones. Did she go? She did not. Held that swing up. That was close. Third base umpire Matt Jack said no. Count 1-2. Good check. Bounced it up there, now 2-2. Base is empty, 2 outs here in the fourth. 2-2 the count here on the center fielder, Lexi Bennett. Let's wake up at the bottom of the fourth.
Pitchers after an inning, after one time through, and so the more you can get out of your pitcher, that just helps you down the stretch.
Amy Hogue checking with the notepad and the iPad. She sends up her first baseman, freshman Sion Noli. Takes the first pitch high, ball 1. For a pitcher with high walk numbers, and Schuler has them, 51 on the year, she's only walked 1 so far here tonight. Utah's worked the count on her, but Schuler's managed to throw strikes in 3-1 and 3-2 situations as that ball goes outside.
Yeah, and helping yourself out goes a long ways, because we've seen these free rides at this level continually come back to haunt you. 100% of the time, they usually come back to haunt you.
Noli had runners at second and third and just 1 out her first time through and grounded out to the shortstop. 3-0 now.
Yeah, both pitchers have continued to try to work that inside river, and the umpire is staying strong on not calling that, so you can see a little frustration there.
Noli at 293 on the year and takes the 4-pitch walk down to first base. Just the 11th time this year Noli's walked, and she's down at first base with a leadoff walk. Peyton Crank steps in now for Utah. Key now for Utah is they've had runners on base. You've got to make these runners on base and these leadoff hits and walks pay dividends, right?
Yeah, you don't want the storyline to be how many runners you left on. Stranded. You want the storyline to be we got base runners on, we did anything we had, we did everything possible to get them around. And you know, Coach Hogue isn't taking anything for granted at this point. She knows how this rivalry game is and that anything can happen, and that BYU's playing free here and taking every pitch seriously.
Rio Mendez will come in and pinch run for Sion Noli. Rio with excellent speed. Peyton Crank outstanding hitter. Grounded out to end things back in the first inning, but hitting really well right now for Utah. 7 home runs, 39 runs driven in for the Utes. Takes a strike right there, and the count 0-1. Peyton coming off a weekend where she drove in 8 against Baylor in 3 games, including a home run.
So her seeing the ball has continued through the next series after her great quote that she gave after the game.
That went outside 1-1. Utah really trying to force Haley Schuler to throw strikes. Well, that sounds very simplistic, and that's kind of the name of the game, but trying to work that count on Schuler.
That's sometimes the hardest thing to do is hold back.
Frank chased that one up and out of the zone. That was a tough one for her to lay off. And the count now 1-2.
You can almost taste it sometimes as a hitter, and when they can jump that ball as a pitcher is up and out of the zone and get you. Confidence builder.
Didn't chase that one. Now the count levels out at 2-2.
Strikes only is the message from Coach Hogue over there at third. Strikes only.
Schuler ready, rocks and fires the 2-2 pitch. Up and out of the zone again, now 3-2. Pitch count now at 57 for Haley Schuler. Runner at first base, nobody out. Cougars lead this one in the 4th, 2-0. That ball's pretty well hit to right field. Circling underneath it and coming over to grab it is the center fielder. Goodness gracious, that ball to me looked like it was going to be the ball for the right fielder, Brittingham. Instead, Lexi Bennett took it and fired it back to the infield for out number 1.
That could have been a much different story. She gains a lot of ground over there. Center field priority always, and that's
well, Brittingham was there waiting on it.
I've had that done to me in co-ed slow pitch a time or two before the team realized that I might be able to catch it. But yeah, center field priority goes back to the basics. Even if they are going a little bit far, the corners of the outfield know that they can be called off by the center field at any time, and then you got to catch it. No matter what, you got to catch it.
Here's an interesting move. A pinch hitter coming in here for Kayla Lyon. Kayla hasn't swung it well as of late. They're going to bring Kate Blunt, the transfer from UCLA and senior, in to pinch hit now. This is only Kate's 10th at-bat of the season for Utah. First pitch outside, ball 1.
There are so many analytics that, there might be something that they like Blunt's matchup here against this pitcher, or feel like that she can do something different, and she's got speed.
That one fouled off, count 1-1 now. Kate's got a home run on the year, 2 doubles, 9 runs scored. She's been used quite a bit as a pinch runner this year too, but she's seen a lot of softball in her career. Played at that powerhouse at UCLA before coming to Salt Lake City to wrap up her career. 1-1 the count here. Lays off it now, 2-1. And maybe, just maybe, if you're Amy Hogue, you like the plate discipline of Kate Blunt, who's played a lot of softball in her career.
She's seen a lot, and she's even dipped into baseball as well.
Chase that one down, and now the count 2-2.
The baseball swing translates a little better than it used to when the pitching rubber was at 40 feet. It's now at 43, but you almost had to just chop it down to get it in play.
2 balls, 2 strikes here on the pinch hitter, Kate Blunt. Rio Mendez down at first. Swing and a miss. And Blunt down on strikes here. And there's 2 outs in the Utah 4th inning. Pair of off-speed pitches. Scott Blunt.
Yeah, and that was
a little drop ball.
I mean, she wouldn't have been able to do much with that even if she hit it. It would have been a possible double play hit into. So great job by Schuler.
Brings up Shanti Posse, the Utah shortstop. Shanti grounded out 1-4-3. Ball hit off the pitcher's glove back to the second baseman. who's tossed on to first base. Posse at 305 on the year. Does have the power, though, to tie it with one swing. Fouls that one back, and it's 1-1.
Posse historically has been able to wait on those outside pitches and hit them deep in the zone, which is what you need to do with that outside pitch, and she's done a great job with going with it.
That one down 2-1. What Posse has done a great job of this year is cut down on those strikeouts. She's only struck out 7 times this year and walked 26 times.
That has been noticeable this year out of Posse. Just so great to see her elevate.
That ball's well hit to center field. Bennett back and right in front of the 235 mark in center field. Reaches up to grab it for out number 3. So the Utes get a leadoff runner on, who's back out for a 5th inning of work here for Utah. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 4 left on for BYU. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 4 left on for the University of Utah. Acosta singled her last time up and came around to score the game's first run. Acosta has that season average and BYU leading average up to 344 now on the year. And hitting 400 in the leadoff spot.
And when she gets it going for the Cougars, it's contagious.
That one fouled straight back, and the count levels out at 1-1. Three home runs on the year. 2 of those 3 home runs, I believe, have come in conference play. All 3 home runs have come in conference play, including a home run in the series against Houston a couple of weeks ago where she hit 364. Count now 2-1. What have you seen from Shelby Jones in her first outing in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I mean, I thought it was possible we wouldn't see Shelby for the rest of the year, so I think she's really doing quite well.
Runs the count 3-1. Acosta to begin things here in the 5th inning.
And I feel like just like BYU hitters have been hitting free, you can pitch a little more free when you've got some runs in the run column. And
that ball pretty well hit over the head of Peyton Crank out to right center field, and extra bases here for Acosta. Leadoff double for BYU. Well, Jones got down in the count 3-1. She had to throw a strike, and Acosta was sitting on that one.
Yeah, she was waiting for it. She knew it would be one that should be good and really got a hold of it. I mean, this is a very long field. That would have been out in any other field. We've got a little extra length here at Utah on the field, and this is how the momentum is taken when you're a visiting team.
So Acosta 2 for 3 down at second base with nobody out brings up Lily Owens. Owens singled back through the box into center field her last time up and came around to score on that Udall-Woolley single. She was initially called out at the plate, but review showed she got around the tag and put her hand on home plate. That ball hit into center field. Wilson comes on to grab it for out number 1. We've seen 2 balls hit over the head of Utah outfielders. They are playing shallow tonight. We saw them do that a little bit in the Texas Tech series, too. They didn't want anything to drop in front of them.
And again, probably the analytics. They've got about every single statistic under the sun, and they do play the game of analytics in this game of the new game of softball.
Schuler's walked twice tonight. She's in without an official plate appearance just yet. That ball down, 1-0. 8 home runs, 33 driven in this year for Haley Schuler, and hitting .469 with runners in scoring position.
You see Acosta out there at 2, just getting huge leads, and I think really being aggressive, that if something were to drop in there, she'd plan on scoring all the way here.
2-0 the count here on Schuler. Jones ready and fires. Popped foul, backing out of play, and the count now 2-1. Last weekend when they played Iowa State, Haley Schuler homered twice in Game 1 of that series. The weekend before against Houston, she had 4 hits and 4 RBI in the series. So she's swinging it well right now. 2-1 pitch. Line to the second baseman. White goes to second, but back with a dive is Acosta. He wasn't too far off the base. Wisely, Acosta down at second. There's 2 away. And that brings up Maddie Udall-Woolley. Here's a look.
Posse was kind of coming that way, but not. She wasn't off quite far enough to pluck that double play there.
Last time up, Udall-Woolley got RBI number 19 and 20 on the year with a single to left field. Takes a strike right there. She came into the ball game hitting .450 in the month of April. That average now a little bit higher. Runner at second base and 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. A little flare out toward the first baseman, and in foul territory, Noli grabs it for out number 3, so Shelby Jones does a nice job working around that leadoff double.
Point and still be smart.
That'll bring up Reese Lee to lead things off here in the 5th for Utah. Reese Lee, the Utah left fielder, 1 for 1 tonight. She singled back through the box in the 2nd inning. Lee's got a single. Mia Gomez has 2 singles, and that's it for Utah. Haley Schuler throwing one of her best games of the year tonight here against Utah. That ball well hit to left field. Back on her horse, Lily Owens looking up, twisting, turning, and missing the ball as it ricochets off the wall. Reese Lee will pull into second base with a leadoff double. I'm not sure that Owens ever really got a good look at that ball off the bat.
They call it the blender, this field, because it's such a big field and outfielders can lose their place, and just lost it there.
And a wise move by Lee. She might have been able to get to third, but the old Cardinal rule, whether it's baseball or softball, you don't want to make the first or the last out of the inning at third base.
Absolutely not. This is, right now, this is very important for Utah to get on the board because, again, it's unusual for them to not be on the board at this stage in the game with how well they've been hitting. And great start for Lee. Such a big play there at the plate.
Brings up Haley White, the second baseman.
It's just always easier to get up to 2 runs once you get that 1 run under your belt. And looks like Haley was maybe a slap situation there.
Runner at second base. Nobody out. That's a strike to Haley White, and the count now 0-2. Haley grounded out to the third baseman her first time up. Haley's been terrific this year with runners in scoring position for Utah at .371. And that ball down. One and 2 to the Utah second baseman and senior Haley White. That ball well hit into right field. Right fielder back, makes the grab, fires back to the infield in time, and Reese Lee tags and goes from second to third base.
Great battle by White. I mean, coming back from an 0-2 pitch and sacrifice flying to move that runner. Great dig out of a hole there for Haley White.
She made good contact off the bat, but the ball not really carrying much tonight out to right center field.
Yeah, it kind of just died and had a spin on it a little bit probably that just took away some of what she had on it.
And so now we get a little bit of a mound visit right now. Schuler has thrown well so far here tonight. Utah's made good contact in this inning against her. And
this meeting's about a little bit of everything. We've got Gomez coming up, the momentum to try to slow down Utah because the stats show that they'll feed off of each other in this situation.
Pitching coach Pete Meredith went out, had a word with his right-hander, And now Mia Gomez, the left-hander, who has got 2 hits tonight. 2 of the 4 Utah hits belong to Gomez. And really all Mia's got to do is put this ball in play to the right side of the infield. Utah should get a run home here. First pitch in there for a strike. Singled in the first, singled in the third, did Gomez. She's up to 395. 327 with runners in scoring position. She could tie it with 1 swing as well.
By Gomez, and you wonder when they get on the first 2 at-bats, will the statistics be in their favor to do it again? And she just came through there in a big way for Utah.
So the Utes a little momentum here in the 5th inning now. Finally get that breakthrough on the scoreboard. Gomez gets RBI number 41 on the season to lead this Utah team. She'll give way to the pinched runner and bring Kennedy Proctor to the plate. Siani Sakai, the pinch runner in the game. Her mom and dad are here from the islands to watch her. And Kennedy Proctor, who's 0 for 1, a walk and a ground out, comes to the plate. She's got enough power to give Utah the lead right here with 1 swing. Fouls that one back to the screen.
Sakai's parents have to be the coldest fans right now out there compared to where they're used to living in Hawaii.
Proctor with 11 home runs, 37 runs driven in. That ball down in the count, 1-1. Proctor has 13 doubles on the year, which is good for 6th in the Big 12. Been so clutch this year for Utah, hitting .315 with runners on. Way out in front of that one, though, and down to the count now, 1-2.
And you see there she got going on her swing, but really ended up not wanting that pitch, and you could feel her pulling back. And again, she's the best when she just unleashes.
1 ball, 2 strikes here on Kennedy Proctor. Pretty well hit out to right field. Battling the sun and the sky is the right fielder who grabs it. That's Sprittingham for out number 2. And that'll bring up center fielder Danica Wilson. Wilson tonight 0 for 1, a strikeout and a sacrifice bunt. Wilson started off this year just absolutely on fire. Had that average up in the high 300s for much of the year. Really over the last couple of weeks it's dipped just a little bit as she swings and just gets a piece of that one.
And I'm assuming after that last at bat, she laid down that sacrifice so beautifully, effortlessly, and then had that strikeout the last at bat. And I'm sure that she's kind of honed in mentally at improving at this at bat here.
Good speed down at first base with Sakai. That one rises high, and it's 1-1. Chopped foul, and the count now goes to 1-2.
A lot of spin on those balls, how they're coming off the Utah bats.
Can Wilson keep this inning alive for Utah? Foul tip, held by the catcher, strike 3, and Utah is done here in the 5th, but they do get a run on 2 hits, but they leave a runner on base. We go to the 6th in a 1-run game. Five, 6, and 7 due up here for BYU in the 6th. There's a look at it. Not a lot of timely hitting so far here tonight. Utah does have 1 on the board, but they've had other opportunities, just haven't been able to push it across.
Yeah, they've been close, and they do so much better when they can put that together early and not be pressing so much.
Some changes in the outfield. Siani Sakai in left. Reese Lee moves over to right field for Utah. Wilson stays in center field. And the first pitch on the way to Brittingham, who doubled in the second, grounded out in the third. Goes a little low, 1-0. 89 pitches now for Shelby Jones. Grounded toward the shortstop. Posse takes a step back, fires on to first in time to retire Brittingham. And there's one out here in the Cougar sixth. That'll bring up Bree Townsend. Got hit by a pitch in the second inning, did Townsend. Grounded out the third base her last time through.
And you can kind of feel Jones getting more into the rhythm of what she's been wanting to do this game. And
high fly ball into foul territory up the left field line. Sakai there, couple of steps in foul ground, grabs it for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down for Shelby Jones here in the 6th inning. We'll bring up the left-hander Miranda Mansfield. Mansfield 0 for 2 tonight. Infield comes into the corners, especially down at third base. Kayla Lyon really close.
BYU lineup such a contrast with all the seniors out there, almost mirroring the freshmen for Utah.
5 seniors for BYU, 4 freshmen for Utah. 1-0 pitch on the way to Mansfield, just outside 2-0. That one slapped foul at the third baseline, past Kayla Lyon, and the count now 2-1.
We also had such unseasonably warm weather to the start of this conference season, and it's almost like we're getting today the weather we should have had at the beginning of April. Just this little cold, which both teams are used to. There's no advantage when it comes to the weather.
Well, that sun came out, though, about 2.5, 3 hours ago. It's made it really nice here. That one's grounded toward the second baseman. Easy play for White on to first. Another 1-2-3 inning for Shelby Jones here in the 6th. Head to the bottom of the 6th, BYU up 1. Freshman first baseman for Utah. She could tie this with one swing if she gets one she likes. She's got 5 home runs this year. Takes a ball outside.
She just has such a calm demeanor and great presence over there at first base. Has seen so much improvement over at first this year, and at the plate, she can do it with one swing of the bat.
There's a strike on the 85th pitch from Haley Schuler. Giving up 5 hits, just 1 run it was earned, 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Inside corner for a strike, and the count now 1-2 on Noli. Now Schuler has gained more and more confidence here as this game has gone along.
And the plan for both teams could have been to change pitchers by now, but both of them have been holding their ground.
That one's back through the box and into center field. Great piece of hitting. Noli waited on a pitch she wanted, got it, and has a leadoff single here in the 6th inning.
You can almost tell when these hitters are sitting in there with confidence. She coils back, just her weight is perfectly balanced and just gets all of it. I think the center fielder, that came pretty quick to the center fielder there.
That brings up Peyton Crank. Peyton's 0 for 2 tonight after a big weekend at Baylor. Trying to get back on track here. Tries to lay down a bunt. Something you wouldn't expect for Peyton Crank, although we've seen her do that a couple of times this year. And it's 0-1. Brings the infield in just a little bit at the corners right here. Here's the 0-1 pitch. High, 1-1.
I always had such mixed emotions in this situation as a coach because the last thing you want to do is burn an out, but you also don't want to run into a double play, or you want to get that runner in scoring position at all costs.
2-1 game here in the 6th. 1-1 pitch on the way to Crank. The ball's outside, 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Schuler. Off speed, outside now, 3-1.
That was a really good decision there on that off-speed pitch. I mean, Crank did a great job holding back on it. It looked pretty good. You could see how it could have been looking pretty good to her.
3 balls and a strike. It's a hitter's count here for Crank. She takes a strike. Not sure you're going to get a better one than that one right there from Schuler. And now the count runs full 3-2.
That's that pitch that she's been loving on that inside. Really turning on it and seeing it all the way, which she's doing very well at right now.
Schuler ready. Here comes the payoff pitch to Crank. That one's grounded through the right side, off the glove of the second baseman. No play. Everybody safe.
Great job.
Acosta did a really nice job of knocking that down, and she almost got Crank out by flicking that ball onto first base.
Yeah, she was on the ground just doing everything she could to track it down and just roll it over or anything.
Really close play. I'm not sure Crank thought that play was going to be as close as it was at first base.
That goes through, and Utah's runner's at third, so.
Get a pinch runner down at first base for Peyton Crank. It's going to be Anna Reimers. Pitcher and now pinch runner here tonight. 2 on, nobody out here in a 1-run game in the 6th. Kayla Lyon, who was pinch hit for her last time through, will she be pinch hit for again right here? We'll see. Yep, we're going to see another pinch hitter right here. Interestingly enough, it's going to be Taylor Jacobs.
I think Taylor's got a job to do, and it's to move these runners around. Total strategy move here with the lefty. I've seen Taylor do some great things. She knows how to do it. She's got a great pedigree.
Her job is going to be to get a bunt down right here. That's exactly what it's going to be. Doesn't show bunt, though, and takes a ball high.
I think that lefty matchup, the odds are a little bit better that she can maybe turn on something, which she was probably told, just please hit that to the right side if possible.
Jacobs just 2 for 10 this year, takes another ball high. 2 hits and 10 at-bats this year for Taylor Jacobs.
All the technology.
And now another mound visit coming here. And are we going to see a pitching change for BYU as Coach Pete Meredith comes out to have a word here with Haley Schuler?
Everything is such a strategy, right-handed pitchers, left-handed pitchers, right-left hitters. What's it going to be? And I think right now for Utah, it's so important to move these runners at all costs and don't give up more than 1 out doing it.
Runners head back to their respective bases. Noli down to second. Pinch runner Anna Reimers down to first base. And the count 2-0 here on Taylor Jacobs. Well, at this point in time, you've got to see a strike if you're Jacobs. And there's that strike right there on an off-speed pitch at 2-1.
That might be why the watch came in, and wanted to make sure, you're keeping the plan.
2-1 the count with 2 on. 1-run game here in the 6th. Jacobs takes a big cut and comes up empty now, 2-2.
And again, it's okay to shorten up in this situation and move these runners again at all costs for Utah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Now 3-2. Shanti Posse waits on deck for Utah. She got a piece of it to foul it back. It stays 3-2. 2 hits and 10 at-bats. 7 walks this year for Taylor Jacobs as well, and 3 strikeouts. Schuler ready again the payoff pitch. Didn't chase it, that's ball 4.
That's a huge at-bat for Taylor right there, just coming off the bench and really having ice in your veins and producing that movement of the runners by a walk. Again, great job by Taylor.
Jacobs draws the walk to load the bases. That's her 8th walk drawn this year. And that's going to bring up Shanti Posse now. Jolie Mayfield goes into pinch run here for Utah.
And again, on this deep field, BYU has to choose where they're going to play here. And left field's coming in.
Posse takes it outside. Ball 1. Shanti this year does not have a hit with the bases loaded. 323 with runners in scoring position. Infield about halfway right now for BYU, and there's another ball, 2-0.
This is where the pressure, the weight of the game is on the pitcher's shoulders right now, because you've got bases loaded and the last thing you want to do is walk, and you have to be aware of that as a hitter, knowing that they're going to probably come right at you.
There's a strike. Posse's seen it now, and it's 2-1. Shanti 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out the center fielder last time up. Noli at third, Reimers at second, Mayfield down at first, and still nobody out here in the Utah 6th inning. Down a run. A base hit would tie it for sure. Even a well-hit ball to the outfield should likely tie it here too. The one thing you don't want here is a hard-hit ball at an infielder drawn in. They'll be coming plateward for sure.
You want to freeze, just like the old backyard rules, freeze on that line drive. You don't want to run into anything silly here if you're Utah. You want to be very smart on the bases.
Here comes the 2-1 from Schuler. That one's grounded toward the second baseman. She'll come to the plate, and that's 1 out. That's exactly what happened. Hard hit ball at an infielder drawn in. And a fielder's choice retires Noli at the plate, and there's 1 away.
Leave so much space when they come in like that. You know, you can drop it into those positions, but that's exactly what they're playing for. They're playing the odds, and they obviously want to protect their lead here.
So Posse now 0 for 3. And Reese Lee comes up. Reimers down to third base. Mayfield to second. Posse at first. Reese Lee has been good at the plate tonight. She's 2 for 2 here with a single and a double against Haley Schuler. Lee batting 1,000 this year with the bases loaded. Fouls that one back. Swinging first pitch on an elevated ball that time, and it's 0-1.
Reese has been showing great things at the plate. She's owning her at bats, and for Utah, they're hoping that the leadership will come through here in this situation.
Fouled back quickly, 0-2 here on Reese Lee. Haley White waits on deck. Bases remain loaded with 1 out. I would be surprised if it's anything near the zone here from Schuler. Up and out of the zone, 2-1, or 1-2.
Those are scary too when you have the runners at third, because you don't want to pass ball either. There's a lot of depth here between the home base and the backstop area that a lot of runners have scored on the pass balls.
1-2 pitch, laid off it as it rode up and in on her, 2-2. Okay, the umpire's saying, well, Lee was claiming she got hit, but she didn't act as if she got hit. Here's the replay of it.
I didn't think anything got hit.
Maybe the end of the bat, maybe your hand. Watch the ball take off here as it comes in. I think it hit the end of the bat.
Yeah, that was a little confusing. It almost did hit her, and kind of a fluky, freaky thing.
And so she's retired now, and there's 2 away. Utah in danger of squandering a real opportunity here in the 6th inning. Brings up Haley White. White's 0 for 2. The senior's going to have to deliver here, a base hit for Utah. And the count 1-0. Haley hitting .667 with the bases loaded. A base hit here would likely give Utah the lead. That ball's outside. No, it catches the edge for a strike, 1-1.
Quality at bat here, and again, this is the timely hitting we talk about, and this is what you dream about. She just came back enough.
That will bring up Mia Gomez. A tie game now here in the 6th. The bases remain loaded for Utah. Gomez 3 for 3 tonight. She has singled 3 times. They're having to make a change here because Siani Sakai, because of some changes defensively and pinch running, was in this spot. And now we're going to get, I think, a pitching change for BYU. Pete Meredith coming out a second time this inning, and the pitching change will indeed occur here for the Cougars in the 6th. We've got quite a situation here. Bases loaded, tie game, bottom of the 6th inning and 2 outs. We'll tell you who the new BYU pitcher is when we get back here to Dumpke Family Softball Stadium. 2-2 our score.
To new pitchers, and especially a lefty in this situation.
She's 3 for 3 tonight with an RBI as Mia Gomez. A base hit here gives Utah the lead in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch, a ball out of the zone. Villegas, 13 more walks on the season than strikeouts. Has given up 15 home runs this year as well. Mia Gomez, the best power hitter on this Utah team. 1-0 pitch. Now 2-0. Mayfield at third, Posse at second. White, who delivered that last hit, it turned out to be an error on the shortstop. It brought the run home. He's down at first base. 2-0 the count here on Mia Gomez. That one's grounded toward the third baseman, who fields cleanly and fires on to first. And that retires the side. But Utah ties it up. A run on 2 hits, an error, and they left the bases loaded. 7th inning of work. 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. She's worked around a couple of jams as well. And she comes into this 7th inning with 95 pitches in her back pocket. She'll face 8, 9, and 1 for the BYU Cougars. Utah tied it up bottom of the 6th, but maybe left a really big opportunity out there with the bases loaded.
I don't know if Utah could have had a better situation with their biggest hitter up to bat in that situation, bases loaded. It's a storybook moment, but you know, you see these pitchers, the more runs that the offense can score, you see the pitchers just pitch with more ease, and they're not so tight.
BYU's going to send a pinch hitter up here for Turlington, the shortstop. It'll be Rita Tavita. Tavita hitting .267 on the year, 3 home runs and 15 driven in. Tavita right out of Salt Lake City. In fact, went to high school about 4 miles down the road from where we sit right up here on the hill, down at West High School. Grounds one to the shortstop. We're making third baseman Jolie Mayfield, who gets her first opportunity on the first pitch of the inning, and Mayfield gloves it and fires on to first in time, and there's one away.
I want to give a shout out there to the local Rita, who I think has an entire section over there that was cheering her on. They didn't have to come very far from the West High area.
That one slapped into left field, drifting over toward the line. To grab it is Reese Lee for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down quickly here in the 7th for the BYU Cougars. Takes us back to the top of the order. And Danica Acosta, who's 2 out of 3 tonight. Acosta was retired her first time through and has singled and doubled since. Shelby Jones wants to deal with Acosta and does not want to let her on base with Owen, Schuler, and Udall Woolley following. Up and out of the zone, ball 1.
Yeah, that's that one that he's stuck pretty strong to, that Shelby would like to have, and so would Proctor.
That one popped over the shortstop's head and into center field. That's a base hit. Third hit tonight for Danica Acosta, and she continued to swing a hot bat. That average over 350 right now.
Those spinning bloops there's not much you can do because middle infielders are playing way in because of the speed and the chopper slap scenario, and there's just no way anybody would anywhere near that ball.
Got to be really careful here with these next 2 or 3 hitters for BYU. Lily Owens with 10 home runs on the year, 1 for 3 tonight. Grounds it toward the first baseman. Foul. It was fair if you count the orange bag. It went right over the orange bag down there, but that one's just for the base runner. It's in foul territory.
The orange bag for safety. That's a new.
Jones ready, 0-1 pitch to Owens. Grounded toward the third baseman. Mayfield's got it again and on time. And Jolie Mayfield, who has not played a bunch recently in the field, has 2 opportunities, throws them both out here in the 7th. Utah with a chance to win it, sending 2, 3, and 4 up in the bottom of the 7th. And then Nolde to bat here for Utah. All 3 of these hitters could end it with 1 swing. Proctor takes a strike in the count, 0-1. Kennedy working on an 0 for 2 night tonight. A walk back in the first.
She's got to get back into her zone and have that confidence that she's had all season. No questioning the choices.
That one's in there for a strike as well. 2 pitches over the outside edge. Time clock's off right now in center field. Must be a malfunction of some sort. And the umpire called time on that. Now it's back on again. So the count's 1-1. That strike was thrown too late. And by the expiration of the time clock, it becomes a ball. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Proctor. Popped up the left field line. Twisting and turning and over to try to make a grab, Lily Owens. Couldn't quite get there, and it's 1-2. That was a long, long run for Lily Owens. She almost got there, though.
Yeah, I thought she was going to reach it there with the slide. There's just enough height on that almost.
Count 1-2 on Utah's sophomore catcher, Kennedy Proctor. Nobody on, nobody out here, bottom of the 7th. Outside, 2-2. I'm not sure many of us expected a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 7th today, the way these 2 teams have been hitting as of late. Did you?
No, it's kind of felt like an old-time game, low scoring.
So Proctor's now down at third base. Does she get the extra base because of that interference? Here it is again, watch. Are they saying she was going to get second anyway, and then they give her
Yes.
third base because of the interference?
Because she was in motion, and depending on where, I think there's a lot of factors in this situation, but it was really about where she was at. It's not like you get 2 bags, but I think that there was a frustration on the BYU side because feeling like maybe she should have just been at 2, but
So now, nobody out in the runner at third base. Timeout taken by the pitcher. Danica Wilson at the plate. She struck out her last 2 times through. Proctor runs well at third. Not a speedster, but runs well. Infield kind of halfway right now for BYU. I'm a little surprised they're not a little further in. First pitch, over but misses. Down just a bit. Left field very shallow with Owens. Bennett at medium depth in center field. And medium depth in right field with Brittingham. A base hit would win it here for Utah and walk it off. Outside now, 2-0. And with a base open down at first, you can be careful here if you're Villegas. Wilson pops it foul, backing out of play in the count 2-1.
Outfielders are playing the odds because all that matters is that run, and so they're trying to take away anything in front of them, and anything that they can throw out there to the distance that they would need to, that they can throw that.
2-1 pitch on the way to Wilson. Swing and a miss, chased it up and out of the zone. And now the count 2-2.
And again, for Wilson, it doesn't have to be fancy at all. I mean, it's amazing what you can score someone like Proctor from third to home, what you can do as a lefty here. Doesn't need much.
2-2 pitch to Wilson. Outside 3-2. Noli waits on deck. Peyton Crank will follow. Winning run down at third base for Utah. In a 2-2 game here in the bottom of the 7th, Utah trying to walk it off.
Absolutely great job on Wilson there to just come up with it as she